Storytime, learning humor. This one's going to have some length to it because it's got a couple different parts. So the YouTube link is going to be on here. If you subscribe, I don't care if you like the video, but if you subscribe, it will really help out my agenda to get the book out. So, straight to story. Now, I remember being a kid and first learning what humor was. Because I remember, like after the first banana, maybe the second, it's like, okay, that joke is played. That joke is played. Okay, yes, I know he's going to trip over that banana in the open. And I had that attitude, you know what I mean? So what ends up happening is I'm sitting there with Grandma, or Grams is what I called her. And we are watching Night Court. And I look up and I'm like, Grams? Sean? Why is that funny? And then she says, you remember what I was teaching you about putting yourself in the other person's shoes? Oh yeah, that's where you pretend like you're the other person and you try to see things the way they do. Okay, now put yourself in that person's shoes. Try and see the way they do. And then try to see yourself through the other eyes. I could feel her smiling when she saw me just staring intently at the screen. I'm like 8 years old or something like that, But then fast forward, I learned humor by watching other people. Like when I cured my own speech impediment in the first grade, it was because I saw other people laughing and I knew people either laughed with or at. I figured that one out. So I'm watching these other people and I'm piecing patterns together, and then I'm reflecting on what I find funny, what makes me laugh and what makes them laugh. Why does it make them laugh? I'm constantly studying human nature because I didn't fully understand it. Humor, I didn't fully understand. So, fast forward a few years, and we have the Tempe Improv. You know how comedians say that everybody bombs their first time, or everybody's gonna bomb? That happened. More than once. So, basically, I am doing the Tempe Improv. I hate having fear, and I was afraid of public speaking still, despite being a pastor in a predominantly black church. I was an associate pastor, and I was appointed. I wasn't, I want to say endowed. I wasn't ordained. There we go. So I didn't go through the formal process. I was appointed by the senior pastor. And that was literally just to correct. I wasn't trying to flip nobody off. Because coffee, I do not. So what ends up happening from there is I go up on stage and I'm just terrified out of my mind. Because I'd gone through years watching the comedians, learning what makes people laugh, and it's basically a misfire in the brain. This doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. Ah, ha, 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 ha. And so I figured that much out. And then I figured out what makes me laugh. And I got to the point where, like, when I was doing the whole player thing, I would laugh people back home. Or I would laugh them into giving me those digits or going on that second date, I like having fun. And it's not like a manipulative game and nothing like that. I like having fun with people. I like making people laugh. When I worked at SIT, I had a bit of a shtick, but at the same time, I made most of my clients laugh or smile or, feel better at the end of the call. I'm proud of that. So, Tempe Improv was before at SIT, and I take 2 doubles of Jack and Coke, just down the heck out of them. I get up there, and I'm feeling confident about myself until about halfway through the set. I have dark humor, and I opened with the disability joke because I think I qualify, autistic, and a few other things y'all don't know about. But I figured I had permission there. And of course, the second joke that I was going to do about Scooby-Doo drowning, or a drowning puppy joke, yeah, I was that guy. No, wait, I think the first one was a disability joke. The second one was an abortion joke. I said I have a dark sense of humor. Anthony Jeselnik is like my hero, seriously. And then, of course, the Roastmaster General, love him. Why? Because I survived black barbershops. Let me take another drink. But no, seriously, when you get around some folks that know how to rank, yeah, they'll rank on you. Especially if you're corny. But yeah, I went up on the Tempe Improv, just bombed because about halfway through the set, the alcohol really kicked in. And I was a lightweight at the time. Formerly drunk, and now this is like 6 years later, and I barely touch a drink. But I needed some liquid courage that night. So fast forward, I've got, yeah, that's right. I go to Tony V's garage in Washington when I moved back to Washington. And it was nice. I actually met a friend that I'm still friends with on Facebook. We communicate here and there. He's a fellow comedian. I got a few fellow comedians online that I talk to. I took that step because I wanted to get out of my shell. And I think right around the same time as Tony V's garage, I was also going to, basically it's a drag club, but they also have a talent night and amateur night. So I wanted to test myself there. Can I feel confident speaking in front of people telling jokes? Can I execute delivery? Obviously not. I mean, I can now, but that was learning. I was exposing myself to a new environment, but believe it or not, the LGBTQ community is actually very familiar to me. I mean, think of it this way, like outcasts kind of welcome outcasts type deal. So there wasn't any judgment. There was only like critique. But yeah, I did a few stand-ups here and there. They didn't end up great, but I do have a heck of a sense of humor, which you will find in the book. So feel free to subscribe to this channel, because your subscription helps me with literary agents and shows interest in the contents of the book, because this is just one story. Anyway, have fun.